Hello and welcome to Demonized Soundtracks, my 100 subscribers special, where I tell you basically what's going on. So, I recently hit 100 subs on this particular channel. For those who don't know, free advertising, I run another channel called I Read Redux, which doesn't have any of this music stuff in it. About 2 years ago, when my main channel got terminated, I decided to split up the channels. Well, I still could, because at that time, all of the music stuff and everything was on one channel, which is not ideal, and this proves my point. I've made 398 videos, give or take a couple one-offs on this particular channel, and those have led me in one way or another to 100 subscribers, which is a far cry from the 3,000 that I currently hold in my hand. That I currently hold on my main channel, and the 400 and something that I hold on the secondary random crap channel. But 61,000 views is quite a lot for these types of videos, just music. So here's how I do the 7 phases. Basically, I go on my MacBook, because Macs have much better audio handling, macOS does, specifically, than Windows does. If you record something with OBS in Windows, it sounds like donkey balls. So I try to not have that happen, and use a Mac for it. This introduces a bunch of other issues, but the issues that it solves by using a Mac instead of Windows is well worth it. So, how I do the 7 phases is, all that a 7 phase is it's just 7 recordings of the same song. That's all it is. But of course, each one is different in one very key way. It's a different sound font, or a different way of playing the song. For example, in GZ Doom, there are so many ways to fundamentally screw up the song that you're listening to. I just provide 6 ways that one has a higher chance of encountering in the wild. They just download a source port, download the game, and download whatever WAD that they want to play, and then they hear this song. Well, it can sound completely different depending on which source port you use, or even the options within that source port itself. GZ Doom has so many, and that's just one source port. Of course, it's probably the most complicated source port in terms of music support, but still. That's what I use to record these 7 phases. But it's very time consuming, because for every 7 phase I make, that's basically the runtime plus editing, except for the GarageBand versions. I can just export those in faster than real time, so it's done in like a couple seconds. But everything else, that's just the 7 phase. Every other phase, 1 to 6, I have to sit there and babysit my MacBook, or whatever I'm using, which right now is a MacBook, to make sure that nothing happens to the recording and that it gets done. And I can't really do anything else, can't watch any videos while I'm doing this. And if you hear a sound that sounds like the trash being emptied, or an error sound in macOS, or something like that, or maybe even a text send sound, that's because I broke this rule, and I am actually doing other things on the Mac while it's recording. Because I'm an idiot. Because I have to make sure I cut it off when it starts looping, or else it just plays out again in the same exact way. So I need to change how it plays, and then record that out, change how it plays again, record that out. I do that about 7 times, or 6 times, because the last one is GarageBand. So it's quite time consuming, especially when you have a 40-minute song. This happened once, and I did it so I could just get it out of the way, so I never have to do it again. But really, I did sit there for 4 hours, no, like 4.5 hours, just waiting for it to finish, and then loop, and then having it loop to the next one. And I actually had to do it over a couple times, because I messed the first couple phases up a couple times. So that was a pain. I was importing discs with my Mac Pro at the time, so it's not like it was a big deal. I didn't waste 8 hours straight recording it, but it's extremely time consuming. The editing for each video takes around 10 minutes, so it's negligible, really, for the time I have nowadays. But that means even the 46-second video, the title screen, new Free Doom 1 Phase 1 soundtrack, which is the intro screen for Free Doom 1 right now, that video is 46 seconds long, but it probably took me about 15 minutes to make it, which compared to all the others is good. That's a really good time, but it's 46 seconds and it took me 15 minutes to make. So, I don't half-ass my stuff. If I do something, I do it right the first time. I don't post a half-assed version of anything. Not anymore, at least. I might have done that like a year or two ago, but in 2023, I decided if I'm gonna do anything, I'm gonna do it the best way I can the first time, or I don't do it. So everything is the highest quality possible. If for those who don't know what I'm talking about, you won't care, but like Opus is probably good for you. Like YouTube quality is probably good enough for you. But I'll record lossless 32-bit float versions of these songs. Also, I make most of the recent lossless files and even the original samples that are recorded into Audacity, and videos that are uploaded to YouTube that are not YouTube compressed since they're not on YouTube. I have those all available on archive.org on a page that is linked in the description of the ones that do have this. So they're not all just YouTube quality. With Audacity, Audacity is actually what I'm recording my microphone with right now. This is even recording a 32-bit float stream here. And I'm doing that because my camera's microphones are ass. They might be good for most people, but I don't like hearing it, so I don't think I want to put that stuff out there on the internet for other people to have to hear if they want to watch this video. Every time a phase ends and it goes on to a new one, like from Gus to Fluid Synth, for example, which is the first switch, I make it so that the switch is fluid. I don't just leave it to loop and then cut to the next one. No, I actually determine where it's looping and then cut it there, and then make sure there's no space in between. It's a pain in the ass, but it's worth it, and it makes most of them pretty freaking seamless. It's just kind of not possible for it to be completely seamless all the time because of how the songs are on their volume at the end and the start. Because if the volume is too loud at the end of a song and it's too quiet at the start, or vice versa, you're gonna get a pop in the audio, which is quite nasty. But there's not really much I can do about that. So I just don't. I do what I can, and what I can is to not half-ass anything. So I don't do that. And the result is, well, I'm at 100 subs. I don't think that's completely because I don't half-ass anything, but that's because of what I'm doing here. I'm providing high-quality versions of songs that for years or possibly decades before just didn't have one. That's what I strive to do here. I strive to do what no one else is going to and what no one else has done, because it's just not lucrative for anyone else. I'm the only one that cares about this, or I'm the only one that cares that can do it. Other people, they just probably don't have the time, because when they're done with work, they want to come home and sit down and watch TV or play with their kids or something. They don't want to record a song babysitting it for 4 hours. So yeah, so no one's gonna do that. I'm the only one. For the most part. There is, I do want to give a shout out to someone else who does kind of the same thing I do, but quite differently. And he doesn't do the whole 7 phases or anything. He just does fluid synth, basically. But his name is Uni. I'll try to put a link to his channel in the description if I remember to, but he does some of the same things that I do, and his videos are nicer looking than mine. They don't have the text, obviously, but they show like a background of the map that they're for, and he actually puts the real name of the songs, because all these songs basically have a name. I just don't care what it is. And even more than that, I don't care what it is enough to put it in the title or anything, because when people go into the game, whatever game these songs are from, and they check the map that it's on, they're gonna look up map 01 Freedoom 1. Basically, that's what they're going to look up. So I try to make it as accessible as I can, and that's why Map 01 of Freedoom Phase 2 soundtrack on this channel from 2 years ago has 3.8 thousand views, because it's incredibly easy to find. It's probably the most easy to find high quality version of that soundtrack there is. I haven't checked, I'm assuming. Of course, Freedoom changes all the time, so it's not like I can make a version of the song that is going to last forever. They're all going to change at some point. They get replaced and moved around, so yeah. If that's already happened, that's probably why some of them are mismatched. Usually when a new song comes in to Freedoom, I will make a new 7-phase for it. I only do 7 phases now. I don't do the single phase or the basic ones that I did 2 years ago. I don't do that anymore. Because what if someone doesn't use Gus, like most people? What if they just stick with the default? Well, then I have to upload another video of the default. I don't want to do that, so I put them all in the same video. I make them as easy to get to as possible for someone that wants to listen to it. And for those who don't know why I'm actually doing this at all, why I even started, well, it's basically because I couldn't find a high quality version of these songs that I liked so much, and I really wanted to listen to them in high quality on our home theater. So it's a very first world, third world, whatever. I'm gonna call it first world issue, even though it's probably not the saying. No one's gonna have this problem, but I did. So I fixed it. I fixed it the best way I knew how, and it was to do everything myself. So all of these were recorded by me. Music isn't by me, obviously. Actually, some of it is. I've been doing some synthesizer stuff, but other than that, none of it's mine. It's all someone else's work, and the credit should all go to them. Of course, people that make really good stuff are bound to make really good stuff again, so if I end up finding out who did it, I'll probably, contact them and say, oh, what's the other stuff you did, and stuff like that. I'll see if there's anything else that I like listening to, or something like that. Because where there's good stuff, there's bound to be even more. I won't have the Moog grandmother for very much longer, so the whatever synthesizer videos come after, or come in 2024, will most likely be of our Eurorack synthesizer unit and its modules and stuff. Most of that's going to be moved over to the newer channel, Storm and Chocolate. This video is going to be kind of a rambly video. I don't talk very well, which you could probably tell, so who knows if I covered what I wanted to cover. So yeah, this video is kind of half-assed, but whatever. So yeah, this has been Demonized Soundtracks, and I'll see you all in the next 7th phase. See you guys.
Eat your souls! Human Sias! Human Sias! Human Sias! Human Sias!